My name is Ondrej, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to code anything with AI. The popularity of AI programming is absolutely exploding. Building your own software has never been easier. But just like with the internet and Bitcoin, most people are going to miss out. So don't be one of them, watch until the end and start coding with AI. Now, by far the easiest way to build software with AI is with Lovable. So go to lovable.dev or use the link in the description and simply describe what you want it to build. So I'm gonna paste in my prompt and I'm gonna hit run. So I told it, build it a daily time tracking web app with these features: landing page, dashboard, and then I describe the details. But the final sentence of my prompt is the most important. Start by building a clean, visual, and intuitive UI. As you can see, Lovable is already working. And at the top, we can even see the plan. And there is a list of 11 files it will create. Right, so there it is. Lovable has finished writing the 11 files of code. And boom! This is our MVP, look at that. From a single prompt. Wow, pretty good landing page. Let's click on get started. Okay, so even the dashboard works. This is crazy. Guys, a single prompt and we already have the MVP. Alright, but there is a problem. Right now, this MVP just exists inside of my Lovable account. Nobody on the web can access it, right? I cannot send it to my friends, I cannot sell it to clients, which means we have to deploy the website. Deploying means making it accessible to the internet, to everyone on the web with a custom URL. Sounds complex, I know, but it's actually very easy. We're going to be using Lovable's one-click deployment process, which means even beginners can easily do this. But since this is the first bit of friction, the first obstacle, the first barrier, most people will already drop off at this point. So if you just pay attention for the next few minutes and do what I do exactly step by step, you'll be ahead of 90% of people who will give up. So let me show you how to actually do this. Alright, so let's go back to Lovable and go to the top right corner and click on the publish button. As you can see, our project is not yet published since I started like 2 minutes ago. So click on publish and it's as simple as that. I'm telling you, building custom software has never been easier. And there it is. Project is published, so we can click on this domain and boom, this is a custom domain on the web that anybody can visit. So let's click on get started. So here's our dashboard. We can add an activity. I'm gonna say recording a YouTube video. Let's add it. It's right here and it's in the correct time. Wow, 11:15 to 11:30. That's insane. An MVP this good from a single prompt. Man, AI is improving so fast. Now let's say you wanna make further changes to your web app. Well, it's as simple as describing in plain English what you want Lovable to do. So I'm gonna say, make the cards of the time blocks a bit less tall and give them custom icons. That's it. As long as you can type in English, you can build anything your mind can imagine using Lovable. Now we can actually click on this little block and you can see exactly the code as it's being written. But wow, there it is. So we have custom icons that match whatever it is, and the height was a bit reduced. However, there is another issue. Our project doesn't have any version control, which is very bad if you want to work on it long term. Because if you don't have version control, you might end up like this guy who lost 4 months of progress because he didn't save the versions of his project anywhere. Luckily, Lovable makes this ultra easy with their one-click GitHub integration. So go into the top right corner and click on GitHub and then connect to GitHub. And you'll see this pop up right here. Install Lovable, and you can either do all repositories or select specific repositories. Up to you, and then click on install and authorize. Okay, connecting to GitHub, and then click connect GitHub once more, and you'll see that now we can create a custom repo in our project. So I'm gonna click on this. Vectel is the name of my software, by the way, and boom, there it is. A GitHub repository is now under your account. This project is connected to Vectel/time bubble tracker. So if we click on this, it will actually show up the exact repo on GitHub with all of our code. So everything that Lovable builds for us, which by the way you can see right here if you toggle the code viewer, all of this will be backed up to our GitHub repo. So even if you work on this project for months or even years, everything will be safely stored in your GitHub account. Now, if you make any changes and you want to make sure that your custom domain reflects those, just click on the publish button and then update, which will redeploy the project. So that when you're on your URL, you can reload and all of the new changes that you did, such as adding the icons, will be applied. Okay, but now we face another issue. If I create an activity such as go to the gym, fitness, add activity, and then if I reload the website, so we can see it's right here at the bottom, but if I reload, it's not here. Why? Because our website is only frontend. This is only the UI, it's only the frontend. We need to give it a backend, which means we need to store our data in a database. Frontend is what the users see and interact with. Backend handles the database and the core functionality. This is another must-do step if you want to build serious software that can be sold for thousands of dollars. So pay attention. In order to properly store the user's data, we need to connect our website to a database. Lovable makes this super easy, once again, thanks to their Supabase integration. And by the way, I asked Lovable to sponsor this video and they agreed. So anyone that uses this link above will get double the amount of credits. So if you want to try Lovable yourself, make sure to use this link. I'll also put it into the description below the video. Okay, so let me show you just how easy it is to connect a proper database to your website thanks to Lovable. So in the top right corner, you'll see the Supabase button. Click on that and then click on Connect Supabase. This will pop up a window where you need to give Lovable the necessary permissions to update your database. And by the way, if you don't have a Supabase account, just go to supabase.com and create one. It's super easy, takes 20 seconds. Same with GitHub. Don't let these things stop you from building whatever you want to build. I know that if it's your first time doing this, all of these steps might be intimidating and they might seem complicated. So if at any point in this video you feel some friction or a bit of overwhelm, just take a deep breath and continue. You can do this. Okay, click on the Connect Supabase account. And again, we see this pop up. Click on Authorize Lovable, right? So now it's connecting to our Supabase. And there it is, connection successful. Your Supabase organization has been linked up with your account. Select the project to finish the setup. Okay, so after you connect your Supabase, make sure to just reload. That way you can see your projects over here. Now it seems like we have some warning or error here. Check project status in Supabase. So let's do just that. I'm gonna go to Supabase, and since I'm already logged in, I can just click on dashboard. So there it is, project is paused, okay? This project will not accept requests until resumed. All right, but I'm gonna create a new project. So this is good because if you're doing it for the first time, you can just follow my steps. So inside of Supabase, click on new project and select your organization. Project name, Lovable App. Database password, here put in a strong password for your database. Region, select the closest to you. So since right now I'm in Czech Republic, Central EU, Frankfurt is good. And click on Create New Project. And boom, there it is. Literally 3 seconds later, Supabase has created our new database project. And if we go back to Lovable, we should be able to see it once we refresh. Oh, there it is. It was already there. Okay, so Lovable App, and click on Connect. And there it is. You can see our Lovable App project has been connected, which means that Lovable now has access to our dashboard, managing users, SQL editor, edge functions, managing secrets, and much, much more. Basically, it can operate everything in Supabase just as an expert backend engineer would. We can do that just by prompting Lovable. So let me show you. In the top left corner, click on Back to Project. And all I'm going to do is describe in plain English what I want Lovable to perform. So I'm going to say, I just connected the Supabase. Make sure to now create a proper backend for our app so that our data is securely stored. Keep it simple. Boom. Now while the AI is doing the coding, if you have 2 seconds, please make sure to subscribe. Currently, only 26% of you are subscribed. So if you want to see more AI videos on your YouTube page, click the subscribe button below. And just like that, Lovable is getting to work writing custom SQL queries, which it will execute in the SQL editor in Supabase. But since we have connected Supabase to Lovable, we don't have to do any of that. We don't have to worry if this is done right or, if there's some mistake. Lovable takes care of all of that. Okay, so if it's doing SQL commands, it needs to apply the changes. That's because this is a risky thing, right? If you already have a database with lots of users, you want to be really careful if you're running SQL commands. But since this is a new project with no backend, I can just safely apply these without worrying too much about it. All right, so Lovable said, great, the SQL migration has been executed successfully. So let's see what it's doing. Okay, so I think it's rewriting our frontend. Yeah, as you can see, it's rewriting the frontend files so that they actually use the data from the backend. Because right now, all of this data is fake, like this is just mock-up data that it created in the frontend. This isn't stored in the backend. So now it's rewriting the frontend so that the UI and design stays the same, right? Like we want to keep the icons, the colors, the hovering, stuff like that. But we want to replace all of this data to be stored in our actual database. Now, if we go to Supabase and we click on the table editor, we can see the activities right here. So right now, obviously the table is empty since we haven't created anything yet. But if you want to see a visualization, you can click on database and there it is. So each activity has an ID, a user ID, task name, description, category, start time, end time, and created at. This is what our database table looks like, and all of that was set up by Lovable. All right, so let's go back, and it seems like Lovable has finished integrating the backend. Now you have a fully functional app with Supabase integration. I've added authentication with sign up and sign in functionality. This is crazy because that was literally my next step. So it already did that without me even mentioning anything about authentication. Pretty amazing. Protected routes that require login, database integration for storing and retrieving activities, user-specific data with row-level security. To test the app, you'll need to create an account first, then sign in. All right, so let's do just that. So we have our updated app on the right. So let's click on sign in, which by the way wasn't there before. And since this is our first time, we need to sign up actually. I'm going to create my email, david@davidondrej.com, and the password lovable is great. Create account. Okay, account created successfully. You can now sign in with your credentials. So let's click on sign in. Okay, so I'm getting the error, email is not confirmed. So whatever email you put in here, you'll receive a confirmation email where you confirm that you're the owner of that account. So there it is. This is what the confirmation email looks like. So let's click on this link and we have an error. Let's not panic. All I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to go back to Lovable. I'm going to paste this and I'm going to clearly describe what this error is and how it happened, right? This is literally all you need to do. You need to type in English. You need to have some initiative, some ambition, an idea, and the work ethic to pursue it. And when you encounter errors, you need to clearly and precisely describe the error and how it happened, okay? Do not take the errors personally. Even the best programmers in the world encounter errors on a daily basis. So I'm gonna say, I tried signing up with the new auth you added. However, it said email is not confirmed. And I'm just gonna copy the entire content of the email because why not? This is what it looked like. I'm gonna paste in the entire email. I'm gonna separator. However, once I click on that link, I get this error. I'm gonna take a screenshot. It's actually one thing I haven't showed you yet. Lovable can accept screenshots as the input, right? So anytime like an error happens, just take a screenshot. But also if you wanna, copy some UI element, let's say I wanted to recreate something like this, a UI similar to this schema visualizer, I could just take a screenshot of this and paste that into Lovable as well and say, create a component similar to one on the screenshot. Very OP, make sure to utilize screenshots. Anyways, let's go back to Lovable and say, okay, however, once I click on that link, I get an error, see attached screenshot. All right, and then I paste it in the URL. I'm gonna say, please explain what this error is in simple terms, and then fix it like a senior developer would. Boom. So this is literally the process I follow when using AI to code and when fixing errors. You need to clearly and in detail describe what the error is, how it happened, how to recreate it, and then the AI will do its best to fix it. So let's see. Let me fix this by implementing a proper email confirmation flow. Okay, so there it is. Edited 3 files. What's been fixed? Email. Okay, added code to properly handle the redirect URLs when users click on confirmation emails. So I think the best thing is just to try it again. Okay, so now it worked. I literally just typed in the same credentials and it logged me into the app. So let's add our first activity. I'm gonna say swimming, and it's related to fitness and activity. And now let's check our Supabase table. Let me reload this. We should see, there it is. The activity swimming has been saved to our backend. So if we go to our URL, actually, what we need to do is we need to redeploy it. So let's click on publish and update. But even when I reload right here, right? Let me reload. If I sign in again, boom, signing in, there it is. Swimming is stored in our database. And just like that, we've added a proper database backend to our web app. Lovable couldn't have made this any easier, to be honest. All right, so our app has finished deploying, so now we can use our custom domain, and let's try something. I want to see if every user has separated activities properly. So I'm going to use a different user, and actually we need to sign up. And let's see if our activities are properly separated. All right, so there are. I don't see any activities here, even though we have the swimming task name or whatever in our other account. So if I add, let's say, I don't know, walking outside, I'm gonna do, it's my personal time, add activity. I should see it right here in the Supabase table. However, as you can see, it's under different user ID. So in one go, Lovable did 2 things. It added a proper database on the backend, and it also added authentication. And honestly, I'm a bit surprised because I was prepared to do this in 2 separate stages. First adding the backend and then adding authentication. But Lovable just decided to do it all at once, and it did it successfully. I mean, look guys, building custom software has never been easier. I know I sound like a broken record, but so many of you are still not doing something with this information. This is like a first time in history where you can literally type few sentences in English and get custom web apps fully deployed with backend, authentication, version control, and much more within a matter of minutes, and just by using Lovable. This is why everyone in the world should know about this software. Lovable is the software that helps you build new software. Alright, so now you might be thinking, but David, the app is great, it's super easy to connect the backend, connect it to GitHub, adding authentication was also super easy, Lovable is great, but the app doesn't make money, right? We want to actually build an app that we can either sell to clients or we can just scale as a consumer app to thousands of users. So we need to connect payments. So now it's time to add payments. Again, Lovable makes this super easy. All you need is an active Stripe account. So here is how to do it. So obviously we need to go to stripe.com and on there we need to create an account. If you don't have an active Stripe account, just fill in your email address and click start now. This one takes like 5 minutes, usually signing up takes like 30 seconds, but Stripe, you might need to upload some documents, stuff like that, to verify that you're a real person, since this is a software that accepts payments. Once you do have an account, you should see the dashboard button right here. When you click that, you'll get redirected to the Stripe dashboard. Now in the Stripe dashboard, it's important that you enable test mode. This lets us easily test everything, the entire payment funnel, with fake data, making sure everything works. And then once you confirm that everything is working correctly, you just replace the test mode links with the real ones. So let's say this is your first time and you don't know anything about the Stripe dashboard or how to connect Stripe payments. Well, all you need to do is ask Lovable, right? As it literally says in the chat, ask Lovable. How do I connect Stripe payments into my app? I just created a new Stripe account and I'm logged in dashboard. I also have enabled the test mode. To integrate Stripe payments into your app, you'll need to create a secure backend connection using Supabase edge functions. Let me guide you through the process. First, you'll need your Stripe API key. Where do I find the Stripe API key in the dashboard? Oh, it actually even gave me the link right here. Let's click that. Okay, never mind. This was even easier than I thought. I didn't even need it to ask this question because it literally gave me the link right here. All right. Lovable never ceases to amaze me. I guess there is a reason why Lovable is the fastest growing startup in Europe. Okay, so once we're in the dashboard with the API keys, and by the way, make sure you have test mode enabled, we can see our publishable key and our secret key. So I'm just gonna literally copy this. I'm gonna say publishable key, boom, do not share your keys with anybody. Obviously these are test keys, but still treat your API keys just like you treat your passwords. Hopefully in a password manager, hopefully not shared with anybody else. I'm gonna ask it, do you need anything else from me? If not, update our code base so that we have Stripe payments implemented. I'll help you integrate Stripe payments into your TimeBlocks app. Let me first save your API keys as a secret in Supabase. Okay, we'll need to create a Supabase edge function to handle payment processing securely. Front-end components for the payment flow integration. Okay, so here is some SQL. It will need us to review, so I'm going to apply again. If you're doing this on a project that's already running, make sure to actually review this properly, right? Do not just blindly apply. It is a fast way to build an MVP, but also it's a fast way to run into issues long term. Obviously, the more serious you are about a project, the longer you're building on it, the bigger the goals you have for your web app or for whatever software you're building, the more you should try to understand the code, right? If you are just building a quick MVP to get your hands wet or get your feet wet, whatever, then sure, you can just accept all and get through it. But the more serious you are, let's say you want to build a real AI startup, you have to actually dedicate some time into learning the basics. Again, you don't have to understand Next.js or Python or all the syntax, but you probably should know what each file does, right? Like when I go into the code viewer right here in Lovable, you should be able to know like why we have index.html, why we had the readme file, what main.tsx does, and stuff like that. You should have a rough idea of how your code base works. That being said, Lovable already executed these SQL queries, so let's see what it did. Create table public payments, so we should see a new table right here. Payments, there it is. So we have activities and payments. Alter table, okay, so it enabled row level security. That way, only one user can access his payments and not the other user's payments, That would be a major security flaw. Create policies. So it also created some policies. So if we click on authentication and policies, we see that we have a bunch of them right here. So these are for the activities table. Users can delete only their own activities. Users can insert their own activities, okay? But for payments, user can create payment records and user can view their own payments. Okay, so these policies make sure that our backend is properly secured. That way, someone cannot use a different user's account or see their activities. Seems like the code has been altered, but we have an error. So all you need to do is literally click on try to fix, and you can even click on the error to see what happened. Right, module sooner has no exported member, use toast, okay? So should be a pretty simple fix. The error occurred because we try to import use toast from Sonar, but it doesn't export a use toast function. I fixed the error by replacing the import. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna ask it, how do I test that the Stripe payments work? You can literally get Lovable to help you test your app as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if in a few months, Lovable could actually do this for you, that it would run the tests after any major change. It would suggest like, hey David, we made this change, we added Stripe payments. I suggest we do these 2 tests. Would you like them to run them for you? And you just click on accept and it will do that. This is a pretty safe prediction, especially with how fast the Lovable team is shipping updates. So let's see, to test Stripe payments in Tableau, okay, set up Stripe test mode. Okay, you've already using the key. Go to payments flow, okay? Payments page. So let's click on, okay, there is no upgrade button. So I'm gonna say, there is no upgrade button in our app. Make sure to add a big visible button when the user is in the dashboard. Okay, so now it's adding the upgrade button. Should be a pretty simple change. We just need the users to upgrade from the free plan to the pro plan, Just like inside of Vectel, which is my AI startup, you can use it for free. There are some features that are paid only. Oh, there it is. Wow, pretty good. Upgrade to time blocks premium. Unlock unlimited time blocks, analytics, and more. Upgrade now or upgrade to premium right here. Okay, so I don't know that this is selectable. Obviously, we can easily change that. But let's click on pay now. And we should, okay, payment failed. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. I'm gonna say, when I click on pay now button in the upgrade modal, I get this error. See screenshot. And by the way, make sure the user cannot change the dollar amount we charge for the premium plan. Instead, make that $15 a month hard coded. Enter. Okay, so this is not optimal prompt engineering. Ideally, you would have it do one thing at a time, and then once it does that thing properly, you go to the next one. But let's see, I think Lovable can handle 2 things at once. So first, obviously, we have the error, which is the bigger issue, but then the users can change the amount they're paying, right? That's mainly a UI issue. Okay, so the edge function is returning a 500 error because of a missing Stripe API key. Now, what we haven't done yet is we haven't created a product. So let's go to Stripe dashboard again and click on product catalog. And in here, again, make sure in test mode, I'm going to create a new product. I'm going to name it Lovable App Premium. And I'm going to give it the price in US dollars at 15 a month. Let's click on add product. Let's click on it. Next, hover over the price, click on these 3 dots and click on create payment link. This is a necessary step to make sure that Stripe payments actually work on your app. In here, you can customize like whether you want to collect tax automatically, other advanced options, stuff like that. But once that's done, go to the top right and click on create link. And there it is. This is your Stripe payment link. Let's copy that. And we need to give it to Lovable. I'm going to say, I forgot to give you the Stripe payment link earlier. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to say, make sure to properly implement this into our app so that when the user clicks on the upgrade button, he gets redirected to the Stripe checkout. Enter. This is actually even easier than having our own checkout because we can just let Stripe handle all of that automatically. Okay, so Lovable says, I'll implement the Stripe payment link into our app. This will allow users to be redirected to Stripe checkout. Okay, sounds good. So let's see what it does. Okay, this is good. You can see that it doesn't change what doesn't need to be changed. It only rewrites the parts of the code that need to be rewritten, such as the dashboard, where the buttons are located, and the payments TSX component. Man, watching the AI work is so amazing. Like, if you don't think we'll live in the future, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so let's test it out. I'm gonna click on upgrade to premium, and we can see that we no longer can change the amount. That's good. And we can click on proceed to checkout. And actually we can publish our app so we can test it in the custom domain as well. Okay, so I think it's better to test it here because this is what your website actually looks like to real users, right? So I'm on my custom domain. I'm gonna click the upgrade button, proceed to checkout. Boom, we get redirected to Stripe checkout. Amazing. So I'm gonna enter my email. Now, as you can see, this is in test mode, right? So this will actually not make any real payments. I'm going to show you exactly how to simulate the entire process. So put in your email, and then for the card, just type in 4242 multiple times. And then for the date, you need a future date, such as 0.25. And then any three numbers here, doesn't matter. Okay, David Ondrej, boom, Czechia, pay and subscribe. And boom, there it is. Inside of our customers tab in the Stripe dashboard, we can see a new customer created today. Beautiful. And just like that, our app can now successfully accept payments. So obviously, the last step that you would have to do yourself is to turn off test mode and replace the API keys and the payment link with real ones. Everything else is the same. Everything else is the same. And if at some point, you run into an error or you get stuck at any point, just ask Lovable in the chat. Describe what's happening. Ask it what you should do next, how to connect it, stuff like that. It can literally help you build anything. I mean, you literally saw me do it in this video. We've built an entire full stack app with a front end, back end, database, authentication, version control, payments, email off, all of that with Lovable, literally typing in plain English. So whatever idea you have, whatever business you want to start, whatever software you want to build, there's no longer an excuse not to do it. Thanks to Lovable, it's super easy. All you need to do is type in plain English and let Lovable do the rest. So if you want to try Lovable yourself, go to lovable.dev/DavidOndrej or just click the link below the video and you'll get double the amount of credits that other people get. With that being said, thanks you guys for watching. Go try Lovable and have a wonderful rest of the week. See ya.